Look at the 2026 automotive market, and you will find heavy, plush family haulers running a dead heat with purpose-built supercars. To get behind the wheel of one of these top-tier machines, the entry point sits around $117,000. But keep ticking option boxes and stepping up to elite badges, and that invoice easily crosses the $400,000 mark. The math gets complicated when you look at what that nearly $300,000 difference actually buys you. On a straight stretch of asphalt, the gap between the bottom and the top often comes down to less than half a second. This forces a choice. You have to decide if you are cutting a check for empirical, measured performance, or if you are paying a massive premium purely for emotional brand theater. To separate the marketing hype from reality, we need to evaluate these vehicles strictly on their return on investment. This chart maps the top 10 luxury sports SUVs based on two critical data points. The x-axis tracks the base price from $100,000 up to over $400,000, and the y-axis tracks acceleration, the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour sprint, dropping from 4 seconds down to 3. As we draw the trend line through the data, notice how sharply the curve starts to flatten after the $150,000 mark. The cluster on the left delivers huge speed for the price, while those expensive outliers on the right require massive jumps in cash for incredibly minor improvements. Look at the gap between 3.6 and 3.3 seconds. To cross that specific fraction of a second, the financial premium grows exponentially. We call this the cost of a second. Navigating this math effectively means splitting the super SUV market into 3 distinct value tiers. This table shows the first bracket, Tier 1, ranging from $115,000 to $140,000. It includes the BMW X6M, Audi RS Q8, Mercedes GLE 63S, and Maserati Grecale Trofeo. The baseline is serious, 530 to 640 horsepower, translating to 0 to 100 times between 3.6 and 3.9 seconds. The lineage of this bracket traces back to early German experiments in the late 90s, combining a tall, practical body with aggressive engine tuning. The statistical powerhouse of this tier is the Audi RS Q8 Performance. For roughly $136,000, its bi-turbo V8 pushes 640 horsepower to achieve a 3.6-second sprint. On the more accessible end, the Maserati Grecale Trofeo serves as the entry point at $117,000. It utilizes the Nettuno engine technology borrowed from the MC20 supercar, packed into a much more compact footprint. Structurally, Tier 1 offers the absolute highest horsepower per dollar ratio available. The trade-off is that these vehicles share their underlying platforms with standard, everyday commuter cars. Here is the second tier: Range Rover Sport SV, Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, and Bentley Bentayga Speed. Notice the pricing column. You pay nearly double Tier 1's entry cost, yet straight-line performance improves by just a fraction, settling in the 3.3 to 3.8 second range. Porsche justifies its $214,000 price tag off the line, engineering a stiffened chassis and aggressive aero to dominate complex racing circuits like the Nürburgring. Bentley and Range Rover take the opposite route. Their engineering budgets prioritize aristocratic, palace-like comfort and bespoke presentation over raw track dominance. The extra capital here buys specialized mechanical additions, from highly advanced chassis dynamics to functional carbon fiber elements not offered in the lower brackets. By the time you reach Tier 2, the financial equation is no longer about straight-line speed. It is strictly about mechanical supremacy, high lateral cornering forces, and elite interior refinement. This brings us to the apex bracket: the Aston Martin DBX 707, Lamborghini Urus SE, and Ferrari Purosangue, climbing past $400,000. At these weights, straight-line speeds hit the absolute limit of modern physics, maxing out sprints between 3.1 and 3.4 seconds. To find an edge, Lamborghini implemented advanced plug-in hybrid technology, pushing the total output of the Urus SE to a staggering 800 horsepower. Aston Martin leverages a different angle entirely. They pull from their legitimate Formula One pedigree, utilizing track-tested engineering to justify a base price nearing $300,000. Ferrari approaches the segment with outright defiance, dropping a naturally aspirated V12 engine into a remarkably low 4-door shell, charging over $400,000 for the privilege. At this ultimate tier, the cost per horsepower ratio is mathematically abysmal. You pay a $250,000 premium solely for emotional theater, engine acoustics, and unparalleled badge exclusivity. So, looking at the entire board, there is no single best vehicle. There is only the right match for your specific definition of value. This matrix breaks down the final decision into 3 distinct buyer archetypes: the pragmatic optimizer, the engineering purist, and the exotic collector. If you are a pragmatic optimizer, choose the Audi RS Q8. It delivers supercar specifications and serious torque without subjecting you to supercar taxation. If you are the engineering purist, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT is your target. You trade a plush, isolated ride for a chassis capable of track-level cornering forces. And if you are an exotic collector, where budget is irrelevant, the Aston Martin or Ferrari become the obvious choice. Here, the acoustic brand experience and the racing pedigree dictate the value. The math of the 2026 market is clear. You can easily buy top-tier speed for $120,000. Purchasing a specific identity, however, costs significantly more.